How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Max, which is the founder of Bookkeeping, join us from US. So Max, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Hi, Harry. Well, there are different ways to do it, but here are my 5 steps. Step number 1, create a business plan and make sure this is a live document, okay? Meaning that it's changing all the time, because tomorrow you'll know more than you know today. So just make sure that you update it and keep at it all the time, but definitely start with the business plan. And step number 2, find a team. You cannot do everything by yourself, okay? Depends on your budget, on your business. The team can be, just advisors, just, your family members who can help you. Maybe not full time, but it's who, not how. Again, you don't know everything. So you need to tap into other people's brain and resources. Step number 3, follow the plan. That's one of the hardest one, because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you want to do everything. You run around and I'll do this and I'll do that, and usually it doesn't get you anywhere because you just don't get the most important things done. Step number 4, exit your business, or have a plan how to exit your business. Nothing is forever, okay? The idea that I'm going to build a business and I'm going to give it to my kids and then I'm going to give it to my grandkids, I think it's a myth, because you have no idea if your kids ever want this business or not, okay? So if you're not ready to exit it, at least have a plan how you're going to exit it. And step number 5, don't stop at the first million, okay? Just keep at it, because as somebody said, actually my business coach, Dan Sullivan, he said that to make your present better, you have to make your future bigger. So always make sure that your future is becoming bigger, 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 bigger. Let's say you want to make a million, and then what? You make a million. What, are you gonna die now? Is that the end of the world? You still want to make more, and you want to grow and open different businesses. So definitely don't stop at the first million. So that would be my 5 steps.
And then Max, let's talk about how you developing this business. So I read in your bio that before you have a property business, and in the development, and somehow
More like construction business, yeah.
more like construction business, right?
Yes.
And then with a lot of employees and a lot of work, it's a lot going on. So sometimes you're so busy that we don't pay attention to the finance, correct?
That's correct. And, that's exactly what I did, or rather didn't do. I did not pay attention for my own finances, even though I'm a finance major and I understood how to do it. And my co-founder had masters in accounting. So she definitely knew what needs to be done. However, we were so busy hiring employees, growing the business, that we just did not pay attention and didn't see that, the recession is coming and we were overcapitalized.
Yeah, I think that and it said easy, but when you are so busy, yeah, especially in the developing, hiring people and growing, and you have to save your clients, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're running such a big operation, you are just a couple of weeks delays on payments or from the suppliers, it can produce a big cash flow problem, right?
Correct.
Especially if it's like you described, if you have loans and everything. So but also that when the crisis that coming, I have a friend, yeah, that during that period, yeah, he was getting paid in checks, right? And he told me that because the check was charging a commission, something like that, right? That he won't cash a check at the beginning. We cash a check at the end together with another check, so he can save some commission. Yeah. Bottom line, he has 4 million in check that he hasn't cashed out, and the credit crunch come. And when he went to cash out, he was down 4 million because all the money was gone. So sometimes you are in building this big company with this or this massive operation, right? And a market can change dramatically, and without realizing, you can be in the situation that you're not expecting, right? So tell us about that. Tell us about how to overcome challenges in business, how you overcome this setback, and how you came back again in a better form. I always said entrepreneurs, we always come back in the more sophisticated form. Yeah, and we all been there. We all have done it, make a mistake, lost a lot of money, and come back again. Happened to me as well. So my first business was in property. Yeah, this one did well, but I did open a restaurant that was a disaster. I lost a lot of money. So tell us, Max, why how, because some people in your situation, they might commit suicide, and there you go, you're very healthy, very happy. I know there was hard times. So how you overcome adversity, and whether you find the strength to come back even more powerful than before?
So, first of all, I learned something and I learned it later in life. I wish I knew that when I had to close the business and declare bankruptcy, both business and personal, that whatever happens did not happen to me, it happened for me. Okay.
100%.
Because, when it happens to you, you always find somebody, I mean, you always find somebody to blame, the economy, whatever, your business partner, you can find tons of reason. But if you thinking that it happening for you, you just, okay, what have I learned? You always can come back. It's an old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's definitely true. Okay. Unless, God forbid, something like you mentioned, suicide, then, that's something you can come back from it. Okay. That what's done, it's done. But, other stuff, you can definitely learn from it and move forward. And as you said, to become stronger. So,
Where do you find the strength, Mas?
what
The strength? Because some people after this, can you imagine working so hard, build this company, making millions, or have all these employees, and all of a sudden you are with nothing? It's pretty tough to deal with this situation. Yeah, most of the people will get depressed. Most of the people will drink alcohol. Most of the people will get divorced. Most of the people and they will never come back from that one. So where do you find the strength? Do you read any book? Do you have friends to support you? Um, how you came back from that point? Because I know I've been there, and sometimes when you are in this, you're painful. You're thinking, wow, I worked so hard, and I'm empty handed. I have nothing. Uh, it's it's hard to swallow, right?
Yeah, but you're right, and I was depressed, all right. So I wasn't a happy camper when it happened. I wasn't like running around and looking like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I don't have anything now. No. So of
You
course I
start to
was
think, yeah.
depressed. Was very upset, and to be honest with you, because there was a recession going on, a big recession in the U.S. of '08 or '09, there weren't any jobs available in my field. As a matter of
Absolutely.
fact, there weren't any jobs, I don't think, mostly, so if they were available, maybe my path, maybe I would tell myself I would not be strong enough at the time. Hey, remember that was 25 years ago, more than that. So definitely I was younger. I wasn't as experienced as I am. Sorry, not 25, 15 years ago. I wasn't as experienced as I am now, and I was younger. So, um, I probably would find a job and just, work for somebody. Say, hey, I tried, it didn't work. But luckily for me, no jobs were available, so I just had to start it again, and I didn't have a choice. And what gave me strength is, having one baby at home and one on the way. So
Wow.
we did
Oh
not have a
my God.
choice. We did not have a choice. It wasn't like, an option like, oh, let's do it. I mean, let's just do it. Just go and get it done. So that's what. So family gave me strengths. I mean, I had some friends who were support, mental support. I had some friends who were like, well, you see, maybe you should find a job,
A
maybe
job,
it's not.
yeah.
So those they were like talking you out of that, and you know,
I mean, they're trying to protect you. They. This is what they believe.
it's
They
you can
love
look at
you.
it this you can look at it this way, or you can look at it that some of them, I'm not saying all of them, they're a little bit, uh, jealous that they never took any risks,
I
because they
understand.
like live the life with somebody else. I mean, why so many people looking at, sky jumpers and people doing some, crazy tricks, on the mountains, on motorcycles or whatever. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh shoot, I will never do that. So don't get me wrong, I'm not doing it. But some people leave the danger watching somebody else's life. Okay, and I'm taking the extreme. Of course, that would not kill anybody, trying to open another business, but it is a risk again. And so people were like, watching it, just staying behind and, just okay, well, I hope he's not gonna fall. But maybe some, I mean, not the friends, but some people like, well, I hope he falls. It's so gonna be so much fun to watch. But obviously, these people
And
you don't
what a
want them as your
relief. And
friends.
then I was right keeping my job. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So then, Max, you didn't have any choice. So how you came up with this new idea?
Well, the new idea was, we started it was a landscape construction business, and we were doing mostly the regional, and we were doing mostly track homes. When they were building, we were doing backyards and front yards, and then they just simply stopped building. So what brought us down, besides the fact that we didn't know the finances very well at the time, because if we did, we probably would not have a choice, but it would not be as painful as the bankruptcy was, because again, I said we lost pretty much everything. We started the landscape maintenance business, and this time we were paying attention, we were doing it. But again, the business started growing. And the spoiler alert, second time it was, better, and we were able to sell the business because that was the
Wow.
plan. That was the plan originally. And then, when we had the business, we were thinking it was my co-founder, who was my wife at the time. I mean, she's still a business partner. We are not married anymore, but we are she's a huge part of the business. She's a chief people's officer for bookkeeping. So we were so busy, and then we're like, we need to find a bookkeeping company to do bookkeeping for us. And I went out and tried to get estimates. I talked to 20 bookkeepers, and the estimates I've got were from $200 to $2,000 for exactly same scope of work, which I can tell you, and I knew that at the time from my finance background, it's not healthy. You can't have such a big fork. Okay. I mean, 200 to 400, I get it. Everybody has different pricing, but same scope, 200 and 2000, no way. So we're like, there is an opportunity to break into the market. And so that's how bookkeeping started. And it started in the garage, and I was getting the jobs, and Elena was doing it. And at the time, we were running the landscape maintenance business, so I was running two businesses at a time.
Wow.
And eventually, as I said, we sold it and just concentrated on bookkeeping and moved to the office, and so on and so forth. But that definitely, in the beginning, it was like a part-time business. I'm like, well, it's still growing. You can do it. So there is definitely an opportunity. And then in a few years, we opened an office. By accident, we got into franchising. We started doing bookkeeping for uh, one small franchise who started recommending us to their franchisees. And then before we knew, it's another one, another one, another one. So right now, bookkeeping is the preferred bookkeeping provider for over 100 franchise brands in the US. Okay, in all
Wow.
50 states. Fast Signs,
Wow.
Signarama, Sport Clips, a lot of big names, but also some smaller guys that are, you know, just starting, but they grow really fast. And so we do bookkeeping for their franchisees, and that's pretty much bread and butter of our business. And again, that's what I was saying. The business plan changes because all of that was not in the original plan.
In
The
the
word
plan,
franchising
absolutely.
wasn't even there. Nobody even thought about going this route. We got there into accident, but by accident, and we just started, up, um, adapting and moving
Hmm.
to different
You just
direction.
have to be
And
out. You have to be out there, Max. You have to be out there, and
ab-
and
ab-
and listen to your client. Listen what they want. A lot of people get imagine that when this first client come, the franchisee, you say, oh, we don't do franchises. You see how much scope of business you will lose. So you
for,
listen
for, for,
the
for, for, for for sure. I mean, if you would ask me what is the sixth rule, I mean, six steps, I would be adaptive. That would be another one. Just change
100%.
because you can't just because look, sometimes things happen beyond our control. I mean, COVID changed a lot of businesses, the way people were doing. I can tell you in bookkeeping before COVID, people were like, no, no, I want my bookkeeper to come and to work at the office. A lot of people were saying that. I want to have a one-on-one meeting. I want to see them live. After COVID, all of a sudden, it's totally cool to do it via Zoom. So everything changed, and who would have thought, everybody was thinking that this is a really bad thing, which again, COVID was bad. I mean, we can go, and I don't want to spend any time on it. I'm glad it's more or less over as the pandemics, but I'm talking about change a lot of businesses, the way people doing businesses. So anyway,
But then you also,
no,
Max, you adapt as well. You said, okay, we will provide it in Zoom. You know what I mean? Because that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
other thing as well. A lot of bookkeeping friends, they say, oh, let's close the office. I'm going out of business because we cannot see the client face to face. On the other hand, you guys, they were open to say, okay, well, how about if we can do it online? And
funny enough, we always were doing business remotely online. So even when we had one office in San Diego and had, 12 or 13 employees in one office, even our clients in San Diego, we only talked to them on the phone. We didn't use Zoom. It did not exist at the time. It was mostly on the phone. I think we used Skype, if I'm not mistaken, but Zoom wasn't available. So we didn't even meet with clients. Everybody's saying, no, no, you're losing a lot of business because client wants this interaction. And we're like, nope, we're not going to do it. Not that I saw the future, of course not, but that was just our business model. And, it
yeah, same
worked.
like
But
I was, like my one, Max, by accident, yeah. My first property business, I was doing rent to rent here in London. We managed to sell over 5 million, yeah. The business was doing so well that my manager, when I arrived to the office, they told me, Harry, we don't need you, go home. Yeah, we can run this business without you. So the whole business was going in autopilot. And I remember I'm sitting in my home, uh, doing nothing because the business was running by itself with my managers and everything. And then I'm thinking, I said, wow, but I don't like to go to the office. I never like to go to the office. And one day of this one, we're supposed to go there once a month, once every 2 months, just to say hello, because and to see if they need paper in the photocopy, because apparently that's the only thing I can help them in the business. They know how to do everything else, even their own paper in the photocopy. They were telling me that we can get our own paper. Don't worry about it. But then I went one day to the office. I said, guys, let me ask you a question. Do you like to come to the office? And everybody was telling me no. And I'm thinking, well, I don't like to come to the office. You guys don't like to come to the office either. Why we had the office in the first place? You work from home. I save the money for the office, and then we are all happy. How about that? And since then, I'm telling you, this was 15, 16 years ago. Uh, we took this decision, and we have been operating like real estate agent and everything all online from back of the day. So actually, when COVID came, in my office, in our team, everybody's looking itself like nothing happened because we have been working in this way for a long time because it was more flexible for the employees and more cost effective. So it makes sense, for us to operate this way. So sometimes, Mark, the nature of the business model in order for you to keep your competitive advantage because you have this type of flexibility. Maybe you can afford more benefit for your clients, right?
yes, for
You can
sure.
have
And
more, correct? Because you were doing at the phone, you were not doing face to face. Now you can have more, right?
well, look, I mean, you can argue either way. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that my model is the best and the other one is wrong because some people do like it and there is a demand. If there is a
And
demand, there is
some
a
people
supply.
don't
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. So there is a demand, there is a supply. So I know a lot of people who do do it, in person, and they're very successful. And because they're doing it in person, they're able to charge higher
More
rates
exactly.
because they're like, and they charge for the travel and all the stuff. So
There is a space in the market for everybody.
yes, absolutely. So don't think because one person is doing it this way that you have to do it this way as well. You just have to go and find your model. Some people have different models. So a very good example. Eventually, when we were working for franchises, we've decided to franchise our own concept, and now bookkeeping is a franchise. So we're selling bookkeeping franchises in all over the United States, and also not just to the US residents, because bookkeeping qualifies people to get an E2 visa from UK, from Europe, from Asia, from about 81 countries. So we working with somebody right now from Canada who is moving to United States to open a bookkeeping franchise and get the immigration visa for his entire family. So my point is, having said that, my my franchisees that I have now, they're all different. Some like bigger clients, some like smaller, some like the mix, some only do restaurants. And who am I to tell them which way they should go? I mean, I'm a franchisor, so I'm there to support them and give them advice and make sure they follow the rules and train them. But if they only want to do restaurants, all power to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, Max, so what is different? Tell us about your product. What is different
Difference about what?
about your product, the bookkeeping? Yeah. What make you different for your competitors?
Well, I mean, look, bookkeeping by itself is the same no matter how you slice it and dice it.
100%.
Debit is always on the left, credit is always on the right. So you cannot change it. This is, the general rules. However, you can change how you do that. And we use a lot of technology. We adapt with technology, which means that it takes us less time to do the work, and because of that, we are able to sometimes lower the prices, sometimes keep prices the same, and everybody's rising the prices. So we get a bigger market share. Because what took us 5 hours to do 5 years ago, right now it takes us, 2.5 hours or 3 hours. And
Wow.
that's not because, and again, some clients are different. It's not like half all the time, but in some cases, it's actually such a huge difference because we mostly use QuickBooks Intuit product, which is huge in the United States. We are a national partner of Intuit. So last year, bookkeeping was, I want to say, number 8 in the country on the subscriptions managed, which is, that's pretty big if you ask me. But my point is that now QuickBooks is way faster and than it was 5 years ago, and it's changing all the time. So all you have to do just accept it, embrace it. And how can you take advantage of it? Okay, let's get more, bigger market share so we can get double number of clients. We could, keep the same prices, so increase the prices because of inflation, blah, 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 and then do, same number of clients, just work less. That's a model. It's actually a pretty good model. Or we can get double the number of clients, and it's like a snowball. So it's getting more and more and more and more and more. And now we're getting these clients, and we're actually passing them on to our franchisees. So franchisees of bookkeeping become a franchisee, and then they get clients from corporate office, which is awesome. They're loving it.
Amazing. Amazing. So, Max, so sometimes you can provide clients for your franchisees. That's
Yes,
amazing.
absolutely. We provide clients. I mean, this 100 plus franchise brands that we do bookkeeping for, they're the source of clients for our franchisees. We also provide them employees to do the work. So really, it's a turnkey, ecosystem that provides everything, and of course, a full training. So we provide initial training, all done by the way remotely. Then we provide 3 months of accounting school, so you don't really have to be an accountant to be successful owner of bookkeeping business. Because look, I believe that you can own a painting franchise without knowing how to hold the brush. This is not
100%.
about, painting. It's about knowing how to run the business and knowing that You don't know everything, so hire people who do. Obviously, if you don't understand and you don't know how to do it, don't be the quality control. Okay, but you know, I
The-
when I ran the landscape business, I passed all the exams. I mean, I had all the licenses, but trust me, I had no idea how to do it with my hands. I knew the process, but I've never done it in my life. And that's not the reason I lost the business, at the time. It's because, other things happen. But I knew that, hey, it's not going to be me. I can check the quality looking at the pipes. So I had team of people who are actually were responsible for
Same,
that.
same for me. When I have my property business, yeah, I didn't know how to do any painting, or any carpeting, or any bathroom, or any floor. Yeah, I
For
knew how
sure.
much it's gonna cost me, and I knew who I need to hire to do the job effectively and fast. But I didn't know how to actually do it. So at the end of the day, you have to get your own what is your strength. But also, Max, I think that what is more important about the conversation is how the level of flexibility, yeah, that you put into the business. And there are two things, if you're flexible, you cannot have a big ego. And sometimes the issue that we have with the entrepreneurs is that they have this big ego that they think that they know everything and everything has to be on the way and everything should be how they think they should be. And they telling everyone, all the employees, what to do. And whether if you surrender to this ego and you able to, okay, let me be flexible. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe if this franchise client come, maybe why not? Let me take this as a client. And you know what? This is good. Maybe I can take one more. And you start to say, well, and accept that you were wrong. That if you that you should come on after franchise were earlier, but now it happened like by accident. It just came to you. But you know what? Came to you, and you were the humble enough to accept it and to move flexible in that direction. Whether sometimes we have behavior in the entrepreneurs that they're more like ego, and this ego blocks the flexibility, which is key in order to be successful uh, in business. And so, what is your view on this point? Because in order to have a successful business, you have to be in peace. You have to be mentally stable. You have to be exactly what we talked before. Like all these because before you fight bankruptcy, you have a negative emotions already inside your head, and if you don't release these negative emotions, they can become the negative pain. Emotional pain can become a physical pain. You can have heart attack. You can have depression. So you manage to get rid of these negative emotions, start the landscape business again, sell it, and parallel do this one. So how when do you realize that you have to work on yourself? When do you realize the thing doesn't happen to you, that happened for you? How was this process?
So you said mentally stable. I don't know about you, Harry. I've never met an entrepreneur who is a mentally stable person.
At least a piece, yeah.
Yes, I mean, if you're mentally stable, why would you want to take this American, roller coaster and, like rides up and down? I'm joking, of course, but look, I'm
Yeah,
not also because I hang out with a lot of successful entrepreneurs, way more successful than me. And that's, by the way, one of the recipes is to be around people who are, more successful than you are, because you are the average of five people you are with. Okay, I strongly believe that. So if you're gonna be with five losers who always gonna be saying that, hey, everything is bad, the economy is bad. The election results is not what I want. So everything you blame everybody, you're gonna become like this one. So that's why I always hang out with people who are, who are more successful, or at least they're trying. It's not the dollar amount in their pocket. I'm not measuring people with that. Please understand. I'm talking about them being successful, like my mindset. Okay, and then you can be with somebody like who like, oh, let's just go get drunk. Who cares about? And by the way, I'm not promoting alcohol at your podcast, but with my friends who are but with my friends who are successful, we can get drunk all right, and we can go and have a cigar, have a good time. But even then, the conversation is different. Okay, so we
100%.
are drinking, we are having fun. So it's not like we only sitting there and working. Absolutely not. And that leads me to the answer to your question, which is, you know, um, just have a balance. Work is not everything by any means. Like if you said that you will close your computer at 4 p.m. to go to gym, if it's gym is in your schedule, then close your computer at 4 because you can always find what to do. Like, I can
Yeah, but Max, but
probably
this
use the
is
same.
how do you find the strength and the discipline to do that? Because when you're running a business and you have gazillion things to do, you have to work all the hats, especially at the
Well,
beginning, the startups that you don't have time for nothing. How you
well,
create this discipline and say, you know what, I had to stop. I have that because this happened to me when I was building my first business. I was before I employed people. I remember that I was going to bed and I was waking up with the computer in my lap and I fall asleep sitting. Yeah. And this is what's happening almost every day, working 12 to 14 hours, wearing all the hats, doing everything in the business. And I was exhausted. I didn't have time to go to the gym. I didn't have time to look after my head. I didn't. But now looking back, I think that it was in my mind I was working 14 hours, but effectively maybe I was working uh, 6 hours, maybe 7. The other 7 hours, I was angry with me, angry with the supplier, angry with the maintenance people, angry with the client, angry with you know what I mean? And so you think that you actually are building the business, but actually it's not. I was better off to, if I can stop, relax, go around, and then wait until the next 7 hours. But it's difficult to find this strength, right?
Well, I mean, it comes with the experience because I knew that
Exactly.
as you get older, it becomes harder. I mean, I don't know about you, but like right now, not right now, when I was way younger, I was able to party all night and then somehow,
And
next
work,
morning
yeah, same like me.
go to college or go to work, and then next day we would repeat. And I was, you know, all on it. I was really good. Right now, yes, I can still party. Like my Russian blood is still in me. Okay, but I cannot do that for a long period of time, and I know I need the recovery time after that. You know what I'm saying? So I just it's not. I'm not who I was, and I embrace it and I accept it. So and you said you only work in 7 hours. I can argue with you that every day that you continue working, it becomes less than that because you were you being tired takes its toll, like gets over you. So um just realizing you cannot do everything. And people say work life balance, I say life work balance. What comes first? I mean,
I
why are you
understand,
doing it?
100%.
Why
I agree
you
with you.
so you that's my thing. Why am I doing it? Am I doing it to like make a lot of money so later I start traveling, I start doing this, I start doing that, so I'm gonna work now and then eventually I'm gonna start living life. But who knows if tomorrow I'm going to be living this life? A, I can kill myself by working that much. And
Absolutely.
B, you, me, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So I strongly believe I change my whole perspective. I want to live my life today. So, I mean, I do
When
travel.
do you change this perspective? What happened?
Uh, just, feeling that I'm getting like overweight and I'm getting tired and, uh, I would finish the work and I would just stay and stare at TV without understanding what is going on because, then the next morning it would repeat itself. So I'm like, why am I doing it? So just asking myself a question, why? So that what changed my life. I don't remember how many years ago, but look, um, now I always find time for my friends. I find time for
100%.
traveling. So
So with your kids.
yes, I mean my family, I do travel a lot on business, but if I go somewhere for a conference, I always get a day or two before or after just to explore the city. And this is just
Mhm.
my time and I just enjoy. Sometimes friends come with me, sometimes, I go by myself, but I always find time for myself. And again, if I don't do that, I can always find what to do with business. And maybe you can argue the business will grow faster, but this is not my goal. I want to
Yeah,
enjoy it because and I want to do something today while I can because I have no idea what's going to happen in 10 years or even tomorrow for
very
that
good,
matter.
Max. Very good. And then I agree with you 100%. And even more further, in this very same podcast, the other day I interviewed one entrepreneur. He has three businesses, all of them that were making more than 1 million. Yeah. And the guy was vomiting blood. And he told me, Harry, until I took the decision that I'm running this business, these businesses are not running me. And he went 1 year to Thailand, and he managed to work on himself. He managed to get his priorities right, and now he's healthy, he's happy, and still his businesses are around. But if we don't pay attention, Max, the business can kill you because they literally can kill you because you have so many clients, so much pressure, so much. Like I remember my first business. At one point, all the clients want to talk to me. I'm like, these people they cannot talk to me. There were 177 clients, so there were too many. I said, if I need to speak with all of them, I cannot sleep. When I gonna sleep? When I gonna work? And they're simply too many for me. I'm thinking seriously. My heart, I said, "Oh my God, it's if I really if I don't put a structure in place, this situation is gonna be. I cannot deal with this. I can physically no deal with this." And sometimes you have to start to think about it. What actually you doing the things, yeah, and even building that business. I used to have that habit that because I was no time, I was not busy, I will wake up and then work the whole day, and then at 10 p.m. in the evening order a big meal in a restaurant, and so they would sending me home. So imagine how bad is this for your health. I end up overweight, and I'm even still now I'm talking to you, I'm a little bit chubby because you took a hit, and that was long time ago that this happened. So my body took a hit because I developed this bad habit for a long time to eating a lot of food in the evening. Yeah.
Look, look, they're saying that it takes 21 days to develop a habit, just 21 days of doing something. So even if, you're super busy and you're like, well, I don't have time to go to gym, put it in your schedule. And for
Hmm.
21 days, go start with 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just add. I mean, doesn't have to be gym. Sometimes I
Yeah,
just
for me
walk
it's
around.
walking. Max, I go for a
Yes,
walk.
walking.
It works
Yes,
very good
absolutely.
for me.
Absolutely. I live in downtown, so there are a lot of places around here. So I just walk around and walk on the bay and just enjoy. So that's also working out. You walk for hour, 2 hours. That's a great workout. I mean,
And your
so it does.
mind, and then Max, your
Yes.
mind relax. Then you all the stress or all the business, business challenges that we have every day, right? And we have clients, we have supply, we have to be excellent with all of them, so we have to deal with all that. But then if you go for a walk or you go for a gym, all you can reset your mind. Um, all these challenges for business, you can empty your bucket, then next day you're 100% fully ready for business, fully ready for work again. Whether
Uh,
you don't do this working on yourself, could be meditation, could be for go for a walk, could be going for a drink with friends, could be taking your children out. If we don't find as an entrepreneur ways to work in our mental health, to release of these emotions that the business bring, then we pay bigger price, which is could be with our health. And then what's the point to have all the money if you cannot even enjoy it?
Well, you're gonna spend this money to bring your health back. So that's why. So you're working,
Exactly. You're
as
gonna
well.
spend it in the hospital, yeah.
Yes, yes, I know. And then look,
What's the point to
for
make
me,
it in the first place?
for sure. And for me, the biggest one of the biggest lesson was when I'm resting. I mean, I'm not gonna be checking emails. I'm not gonna be this because then you're not getting full rest because you can go around using your example, the city and still be on the phone and answering the emails
Absolutely.
at the same time.
And then
But
you
then
don't
are you?
rest.
You don't rest. So like when you rest, you're rest. When it's a free day for you, when you are not doing anything, then don't do anything. Preferably, don't even look at your email. I mean, people can wait if they don't expect the answers from you. Because in the beginning of the business and for a long time, I was responding literally right away because I would get notification on my phone and people knew that they will get a response 11 p.m.
Three
on
ways.
Sunday, or Saturday. But then you stop
You
doing
don't
it. They're like,
rest.
well, no, you stop doing it. They're like, well, how come it takes you 2 days to get back to me? Well, because there was a weekend and you sent an email Friday night. So get used to it. I'm not going to be working 24/7. So sorry.
Yeah, but Max, if you don't put those boundaries yourself, nobody's gonna put it for you. Yeah, early on the day, like I'm telling you, from 15, 16 years ago, I took one of the best decisions I have taken in my life is exactly when you're thinking about the phone. Yeah, I decided to put my phone in mute. Yeah, in silent. Yeah, and my phone had been in silent for 16 years. Guess what happened? I have business. Some of them work, some of them didn't. I have open close business, and I think my phone is in silent. Everybody around me knows that if you text me, then I can text you back, and we can arrange a time, and we can call, and we can have a phone call, or we can have a Zoom. But everybody that knows me and that's around me, they know for sure that if they call me, I'm not gonna pick up the phone. Even my even my dad, my family, even my brother is driving me crazy all the time. I don't understand why you don't pick up my phones. And I said, look, he said, it's not about you. It's that is this is how I operate because this phone making noise, is driving crazy, and every time that I have to answer to someone, I lose concentration what I'm doing. It cannot work. So what I do, yeah, I look at my phone probably 2 times a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, and I reply on the message that I see, and I arrange my meetings, I arrange my calendar, I do everything. But this constant interaction with the phone and the phone ringing all the time, it didn't work for me. It was in mine. I come from real estate. You know how it is. You have to pick up the phone all the time with clients, viewings, maintenance. So I got traumatized with phones. And since then, I have a very wonderful life since my phone is in silent. So but I had to create the boundary in myself, yeah. And I understand exactly what you do. If you train your team, your staff, everyone that you will respond immediately, guess what happened? They will text you Sunday, Saturday. They don't care that you're one person. They don't care if you want. It's not that they don't care. It's if you train them that you respond immediately, 24/7. Guess what happened? They will contact you 24/7, and they'll expect for you to reply 24/7. But but you have to, when you look that it doesn't have to be this, because exactly what you said, life goes first and business goes after. We know we are running the businesses, so the business are not running us. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, when we start to make this difference, then actually we can have a better business, don't you think?
For sure. I mean, again, and business is not everything. So I hate when people say work-life balance. Sorry, it's my opinion, it should be life-work balance. Okay. And then look, you were talking about somebody who was vomiting blood. Thank God I'm not there, but I also have three businesses. So besides running a bookkeeping business. I sell bookkeeping franchises, and also I'm now offering franchise brokerage, where if somebody's not a good match for bookkeeping franchise, I can help them to choose over 600 franchise brands in the
Well,
US. And by the
well,
way, my services are completely free. We only get paid by franchisor if somebody ends up buying. But I have an extensive expertise in franchising, so I can definitely help. But look, I have teams in every of these three businesses, so I am involved a lot. People still talk to me at some point for all businesses, but I'm not doing everything myself, or otherwise I would go crazy. So I have a plan. I follow the plan. Sometimes I adjust, but I tell people like, franchise with Max. That's really what it is. But I always tell people it is franchise with Max, but you always have, other people who are, I would not
apart
be
from
able to.
Max,
No, no,
apart
no. Of
from
course,
Max.
I would not be able to do it by myself. So ultimately, you get my expertise. You get to talk to me, but I'm not going to be there all the way. I have people who are more qualified to answer the questions that you have. So that's how I live my life.
And this is what it's all about, Max. Is in the end of the day, the whole organization. This is about leadership, right?
For
The whole
sure.
point is to get the better people than you to do the job. Yeah, I was so happy when I had my employee. They sacked me from my own company, and because the truth, they were better than me and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally everything, they were better than me on sales, better than me running the business, better than me to finding property, literally better than me to do anything. When I trained them, I taught them what to do. They were amazing. So sometimes that's the whole point. What we do companies, we do companies to attract the talent and to have people that know better than us to have in the key positions, right?
For sure. For sure. So it's
And
who
be
knows
okay
how.
with it because I'm okay with it. I'm actually happy telling everyone that they are all better than me. There are some people that they they have these, and this is my skill. My skill is to find better people than me to do the job. This is the people. One of my business was an English school when I arrived here to London, and I didn't know any English. Yeah, and I own an English school without speaking English. And the people always say, "You crazy? How come you own an English school if you don't speak English properly?" I said, "Look, but to own an English school, you don't need to know how to speak English. You need to just employ people who know how to do it." That's
For
what I
sure.
was sharing with the people. So, thank you so much, Max. That's been a very amazing and powerful conversation. So, tell us last resources if the people are in love with the conversation, they want to acquire or one of your franchise or get involved in more of what you do, how they can find you, how the process works.
So they can just literally go to franchisewithmax.com, and then they're going to have a choice. Do they want to talk about bookkeeping for their business? Do they want to talk about bookkeeping franchise, or do they want to talk about 600 plus franchises that we have to offer? So it's just one website. I make it really easy. Franchisewithmax.com. You can scan the QR code, or you can just literally go there, and eventually everybody will get a conversation with me. But and there is no charge for that. I'm not trying to sell anything. There is no like hidden courses that I'm trying to sell. No, just you get the services, you end up paying for it unless you buy a franchise, then somebody else is paying for that. But this is just let's have a conversation. What do we have to lose? I i believe in you know uh paying forward. So, the society and the friends and
Me
colleagues
too.
done so much for me. So I'm willing to do that for other people.
Thank you so much, Max. And with that note, paying forward, see you, all of you, in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Max break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.